Okay, we're live. We're live everything now.
Good morning. Welcome to today's court enforcement hearing. My name is Myrna Roche. I'm going to be your special magistrate today. This is a quasi judicial hearing, which means it's similar to court, but the rules are less formal. And everybody who's here to speak on behalf of a case will have the opportunity to do so. At this time, I'd like for those who will be providing testimony this morning to please stand up, raise your right hand for the taking of the oath. Do you swear from the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
With that, I'll ask the city to please call the first case.
Case number, oh, sorry, let me get to the page number. Page number 12, case number 20-123. Property address is 524 South Dixie Highway. Property owner is CJS Checkers, Lake Worth LLC. Assistant Director Robinson. And this is a status update. So the original, you didn't preside over the original hearing. So the order is in the file for you to take a look at.
Yes, thank you.
Yolanda Robinson with the City of Lake Worth Beach. This is a status update for case number 20-123. And the horticulturalist, the city horticulturalist, Raymond McGrew, will be coming forward to speak.
This case is for tree abuse. The city was notified by numerous residents and the city commissioner that sometime during the first week of January of 2021, that 7 trees located at the Checkers restaurant were improperly pruned in a manner that's commonly known as hat hacking. I conducted an inspection and code officer Bull Ware initiated the code compliance case on January 8th. A paralegal representing the property named Bridget Lyons was notified by me that the trees were improperly pruned and it could be evaluated by International Society of Arboriculture certified arborists in order to determine if the abused trees could be restored with corrective pruning. And numerous requests were made for that evaluation by the independent certified arborists, May 6th, May 25th, and again on June 17th. And as of June 23rd, prior to the previous hearing, we had not received a report or heard back from Checkers.
And that's where it's done today?
Yes.
When was the last time you checked the property? Well, actually, no, because it would have sent you the documentation from the arborist.
Yeah.
So you haven't received anything as of this date. Do we have somebody here on behalf of the property owners? Please come up, state your name and relationship to the case, please.
Good morning. Do you mind if I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Good morning. My name is Sean Smith. I'm here on behalf of Checkers. I'm an attorney, and I appreciate everyone's time for letting me be here and let me speak on behalf of my client Checkers. I want to begin with saying I apologize for my client not, I guess, responding to some of the notices that were provided before. They're now made aware of everything and want to make sure that they're coming into full compliance with whatever is recommended, whatever is required of them by the city. Apparently there was some turnover at the local level within Checkers to where they mismanaged the situation before, but people have been made aware at the corporate level and they're taking every action they can to make sure this is remedied. Since being made aware of it, I've gotten involved with this in the past few days, but yesterday they had an arborist. Actually 2 days ago, they retained an arborist on their own behalf named John Sutton from Sutton Consulting Arborists. I believe he came from a list that was that the city has used before. As far as arborist goes, Mr. Sutton has already been out at the property since then. I believe he was there yesterday. He did acknowledge that there was damage to the trees, which I don't think, based on your findings, is a surprise. But he, is going to set forth a report. We don't have all the findings yet, and make recommendations as to what needs to be done to bring these trees back into the best situation they can be in. And whether that means monitoring them for 3 or 5 years and taking certain actions, he's going to make that recommendation. Or if he makes a recommendation that says these trees are past the point of no return and they need to be replaced, Checkers is prepared to follow that recommendation too. Again, they're going to do whatever needs to be done based on his recommendation, and then ultimately based on what the city decides. If anyone cares to see, we went ahead and had pictures taken of what the trees look like as of last week. So we have like a comparison of the pictures I think the city provided, followed by what they thought were angles of what they look like as of a week ago. So here's 3 copies of what I call tree 1. You guys can divvy those out however you want. These are photos of tree 2, and I have 4 of them, I guess, is how they did it. The first picture is, I believe, the city's picture.
Order.
The pictures behind it are pictures taken by Checkers last week. They're labeled 1, 2, and 3. 3 copies. Sorry, I didn't do this in this organized way.
I have one already here. Oh, they're different?
Yeah, they're numbers on the top.
They're all different. Got it.
I didn't have them put together the right way, to be honest.
And then-
You can kind of see that the trees are growing back, but that's my layperson viewpoint. You know, the leaves are coming back. We want to make sure an expert tells us that these trees are at a good status or that more needs to be done.
Okay, I'm reviewing the order. This case wasn't heard by me, was heard by different magistrates. I'm reviewing the order that he entered.
Yes.
The requirement was to submit the documentation from the arborist by September 23rd of 2020. And there was a assessment of fines per diem. Was there an assessment per diem? $50 per day until the assessment is done. How long is it going to take you to get the arborist to submit that report?
I can't speak for the arborist, but we're going to ask that he completes it as fast as possible on the quickest track he can. Again, he's already been out to the property. My client contact from Checkers suggested that they hope it's done in a week. I don't know.
Okay, obviously it came to me, just so they understand, it came to me for status conference, so it was for the city to know what's going on with the property. There's no action to be done by me in either direction, but that is good news that you're actually, that somebody has been hired. Obviously, the faster you can get it done, the better, because you're accruing $50 a day based on that, just because of the violations. So the minute that it's corrected, the violations are going to stop.
Your Honor, let's double check the order, because I think it was either that the lien would be imposed today or a status update happened today. What we would like, if possible, is to give the respondent some more time.
Additional time to go, because
Bring it back in January.
I'm trying to figure out if there's anything that I can do today. My understanding was that it was for status conference. I'm reading the order and it has fine assessment hearing will be held before the magistrate October 28th. Was it noticed for hearing as a status conference, or was it set as a fine assessment hearing? Because if it was not noticed for hearing as a fine assessment, I can't do it.
Right.
Okay. We would request that we have time to submit the report, take the actions that come into compliance, and not be assessed a fine at this time. I know Checkers is doing everything they can.
The other thing that I can do is if the city wants to go ahead and agree to just stay fines for 30 days to give them time to do that. Even though it's a status conference, so long as both parties agree, we can do that. But again, my authority is only that which is based on the hearing, notice of hearing, or whatever you two agree.
It was noticed as both.
It was noticed as both? Okay, so I do have the authority to do it.
We would like to have this come back for status again in January with no fines as of yet.
Is the city,
Status or fine in January instead.
okay, so you want to stay all fines from today till January?
That's correct.
Okay, so is there, I would not have no idea why you would object to that, but.
We would request that as well.
Okay.
And I guess if there could be language in the order that no fines would be assessed.
Yeah, it's gonna be stayed.
Until.
It's gonna be stayed as of today. So whatever you accrued, you accrued. I can't do anything about that until the violations are corrected. Then you can come back and request and show good cause, and then that'll be,
Okay, can that language be in
Assessed.
the order?
that's just, it's procedure. It's a Florida statute, that's the ordinance, that's all there. You don't even need it on the order. Okay, so based on the evidence presented, I hereby find that the property owners are finally moving towards completion. I'm gonna stay the fines beginning today, running all with a stay all the way until January, what's the next hearing?
27.
So January 27th. And on January 27th, the case is coming back for a status conference.
Or fine hearing,
I'm sorry?
or fine assessment.
Or the fine assessment, yeah. So the notice of hearing is to go ahead and provide for those, both of those. But in terms of fines, you have way more time than I was even going to give you. I was going to give you 30 days. They agreed to go ahead and give you till January. So do as much work of that as you can. But
Absolutely. And we're going to move as quickly as possible. I have a
Yeah.
few questions before I leave to make sure we're going into compliance the best way possible.
okay,
Once we have that report ready, who should we be directing that to?
I would imagine it's him right there. Oh,
Okay, we'll go through Elizabeth.
That's fine.
Okay. And
Okay.
then, second, I want to know when the arborist is preparing this report, and maybe I should talk to you offline, but what questions you want answered in
you
that?
probably, that's something you probably want to go ahead and handle offline. So for my purposes, you have a stay on the fines until January 27th. Know that somebody has to come back for the status and fee hearing.
And we have January 27th, correct?
That's,
Yes.
yes, and you will receive a notice of hearing.
Okay, not the.
Okay. And you probably want these. No killing more trees, no pun intended. Actually, it was kind of intended.
Everyone.
Okay, we're gonna go to page 13 of the agenda, item number 34, case number 20-2153. Property address is 1221 Lake Avenue. Property owner is Aladrina Rulian. Building official Peter Ringel, and this is a status update.
No, they did, because there's no signature. That ever come. That's been all I started.
Good morning.
Owner of the 1221 Lake Avenue.
Okay,
Edward Page, I'm a consultant on the expedite the project. Development site.
okay. So tell me where we're at with progress in getting the violations corrected.
Well, Your Honor, what I've prepared for you, I gave to Sam, Mr. Ringo.
Okay.
I also like to hand a copy over to you.
Give it to the city attorney, so she sees it first.
Your Honor, what you have in front of you is just the site plan amendment process. I know when we were last here, this is we're here today for status update.
Yes.
And we haven't submitted anything yet because of the process to be able to prepare all the documentation submitted is a pretty lengthy process. What you have also there is a rendering of what the new location will look like. Victor's Produce has been a staple in the community for about 28 years. Her father actually started the business and now it's still a family-owned business. And based on over the years, as we discussed before, a lot of the updates that were taken and not done properly, after carefully looking at it from the civil engineers as well as the architect, we decided, and the family has decided that they need to make that location look like this. This will be the new Victor's Produce. Once we go through the development process, Mr. Ringo did have a copy of those plans as well also. Yeah, so we anticipate the civil drawings to be done this week, and then I will be able to set up a pre-application meeting with the city of Lake Forest Beach so we can submit the site plan amendment. And once we amend the site, then we can submit the plans to redevelop the property.
Okay, so evidently, and I understand why, this became from a work without a permit for a simple issue. So in order to correct it, you have to do all these other things. So you are going to be requiring time. What are your here, civil engineer has been retained.
Mhm.
Architect has been retained. Do we have a contractor retained?
Yes, we do.
Okay, signed document and everything.
Yes.
Okay,
Upright construction.
fantastic. Okay, that's good news. So that means that if we're moving along,
Yes, we have.
do we have the rendering We're working on plans. They have not been submitted. How far away is the plans? How much time does the architect and the engineer need in order to go ahead and complete plans for submission to the
It's
building
just a
department?
civil engineer.
Oh, so you're doing all of them?
This is this week. He's submitting that.
Okay, so you're gonna be ready to submit plans this week then for permitting?
This week or next week.
Okay.
Those plans, and what that process is, you have to set up a pre-application meeting with the city. I have a little concern about that. It's kind of challenging because they don't meet anybody. I have been able to speak to them, but I speak to them through the front door, through the intercom.
Okay,
So my plan is to find out how we go about the process of actually following the steps that are pre-listed prior to this situation that our lives has been in right now.
so, and obviously I've never been to the property. I don't know what the condition is, especially inside or anything like that. So I'm trying to get a ballpark of how much time it's.
Days to go ahead to get it through. That's about right? So about 30 days to go ahead and get permitted through? Or-
Oh,
As far as what I think would be a good solution here is to get another status update for January. That's
Okay.
in 3 months to get the plan in for site plan process, site plan review. And we will reevaluate it at the January meeting, if that's all right.
I don't have a problem with that. I'm just trying to make sure that the deadlines are as tight as possible so that things get moving along. But if the city's perfectly fine with holding off until January for a status conference to see where they're at that point in time, I'm fine with that.
They're showing real good faith in what they've done.
They have, absolutely. If this comes out, it's gonna be beautiful.
I mean, yeah, we want to do it as soon as possible. Like, we want to submit paper, get our permits and break ground as soon as it's a possibility, you know?
Okay.
Your Honor, I'm happy to speak to them after their item is up. I'm Erin Seed. I'm the Assistant Director of Community Sustainability over Planning, Zoning, and Historic Preservation.
Fantastic.
So we can touch base. Perfect.
Awesome.